never mention each other again, never see each other again, and let each other get back to doing what we both do best, which is defeating trans. And if Kay wants to do that, that's perfectly fine. But what I will say, as I totally agree with you about the women thing, but I would say to you, when I feel the way that I have, and I've had to, and you may be aware of this, Caroline, I've had to have serious involvement in terms of security this year because of the threats that have emanated. When that has been ignored, when that has been evidence has now been claimed to exist but has not been provided to authorities, I get pretty nervous about what the intention about that is. And I think I have a right to feel slightly unnerved about the fact that there is someone sitting here who would
I would
willingly
agree with
let harm
yes,
come to
and I
me.
would agree with you, Robbie, because I remember all too well the threats that were aimed at you, but at the same time, they were not made by Kay, and
And I
nor did
agree.
Kay advocate it at the
But she
time.
did have the evidence of them.
Well,
And that's what she's admitted here
audible
tonight.
evidence. She maybe heard it in a space
No,
that
she said she had the
in. I don't know.
messages. She said she had the message. And Caroline, I'm not going to misquote her here. She said she had the evidence in the space that multiple people, 14 to 15, had contacted her. Now, she called them crazy, crazy men, and she said no to them. Don't do anything. In
Yep.
fairness to her, she said that. All I'm saying is,
And
I think
that doesn't make one complicit, I'm afraid, and you know
No,
that.
hang on. I'm not saying it doesn't make her complicit. I'm saying I feel unnerved about why she did not give that evidence when asked to the authorities. I think that's a fair feeling to have. Do you not feel that's
true? But her judgment was correct and proved right. Nothing happened to you, and it was highly unlikely.
Her judgment was correct, perhaps also because I have actually implemented quite stringent security, which is also another matter as a result of this. So perhaps yes, but also perhaps we don't know, because these people, as she has admitted, have still been contacting her. And she does, admittedly, she continues to say no. But still, I find it very strange because, Caroline, if that had happened to you or anyone else, I would be immediately ringing the police.
Oh, yes, it's happened to me on here when I was standing as a candidate.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, and I will tell you this now, Caroline, I've been accused of running stock accounts talking about your past in UKIP, when actually I'll be level with you. I actually hold very similar positions that you do to Islam and other very political questions. So to put that to bed, I'm not stock accounts harassing you either. But yes, I'm happy if she's happy to move on, because it's just doing everyone no good. And quite frankly, I'll be adopting my own policy from now on, because I think in this space I got and you asked me, Caroline, what did I get? I got what I needed, which is there was no direct allegation beyond, apparently, I've said in a WhatsApp group, I forwarded a video that said that I speak to the dead, a video that does exist, as she admits. So yes, I did forward that into a group because I was sent it from one group and asked to forward it into another group, which I did, but I didn't actually pass comment on it. But as far as...
What about the time you conducted a space where you mocked her for an hour and a half? You were part of that. I heard it myself.
Happily. At that
why
point,
do that then, and then
because
expect no
at that
repercussions?
At that point, that was a week after she'd said she wanted to lock me up in bondage gear and BDSM. And
stop passing the blame and deflecting. Why did you do that? If you were an honourable man and you could have said, you know what, I'm above that, I'm not going to do the same.
Because, well, I don't think I don't think the same is, laughing at someone saying they can speak to the dead. I don't think the same is...
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, I know, but Caroline, I think it is important to say, the same here. The same is, me saying, I'll put it this way, I do laugh at tarot. I think it's utterly ridiculous. But then I'm a new atheist of years. I have no belief in spirituality. I have no belief in ghosts or spectres or anything of spiritual form. However, if people want to have spiritual beliefs, that's not a problem. There are actually, you'll laugh, there are actually other women in the movement who do tarot, who I have absolutely no problems with, because equally, they are not attacking everyone every 2 seconds, and also they're welcome to their personal beliefs. That was not the problem, and it never was the problem. And if Kay had allowed me to continue, and she said, and I'll go into this without attacking her in any way, because it's not fair, but I will say this. She messaged me about the behaviour of one individual. I don't think that was actually accurate. It was about a sock account, and she claimed that this individual ran the sock account. And she appeared very distressed. She says I watched her stories the days after. Well, because she messaged me in a very distressed state at 3:34 a.m. in the morning. I've just looked at when I had screenshots of my text to someone saying, I'm a bit worried, could you check? And basically, I watched her stories for the next few days to go, oh my God, is this woman okay? Because the things she was saying were very worrying. And I don't want to embarrass her, so I won't do that. But I did feel that she was in a vulnerable position. And I think that that can be very isolating and lonely. So that's why I did it. Should she want to be made aware of the position, I actually, against all better judgment, because I was getting a lot of messages about the trans widows situation and about comments that were being made, I personally stayed neutral and said nothing and kept out of it. I just said, oh, I've seen that comment. I think it's a bit silly. But regardless, now, I think the saddest thing is the reason that myself and Isla Mac are being attacked is because in a tweet we disagreed with Kay. Kay said to an individual known as Fraser, who lives in Australia, she said to him, I know where your family are in Scotland. I could pay them a visit. And Isla Mac and I said, that's not how we do things. That's not very fair. We don't agree with that. At such a stage, we agreed that that wasn't right. And then this is what has followed since. And this is the whole 2 years. I agree, it's disproportionate, it's wrong, it needs to come to an end. Have I actually had to laugh a little bit for my sanity? Yes. The whole way along. And I think, Caroline, you I don't want to say you're a latecomer, but you were a slight latecomer in all of this. Because in February and in March, there was daily spaces about me, about how I had HIV, about how I should kill myself, about how I was making women ill, about how I was destroying people, I was poisoning people. And this went on for day after day after day after day. So, yes, I did have a space in which I laughed about someone playing with tarot cards. I'll happily admit that. I did. Do I regret it? Not really, to be honest, after all the abuse that I faced. But what do I think now? I think I'm just going to walk away, to be perfectly honest, because it's not worth it. And it's not worth any of the acrimony, any of the viciousness, to be perfectly frank. And to be honest, we have a puberty blockers trial to be fighting against. And I've been spending most of my time on that. All I would say is I was accused of stalking and harassment. I'm not the one who's been taking pictures of me at an event and publishing them. I'm not the individual who has been putting up my location, where I've been spotted in pubs, even in spaces. That has been Kay. And you can check that. I'm not being dishonest there. She says, I've been at the Battle of Ideas. He's at Conservative Party conference. He's at Labour Party conference. In a space, she says, oh, he's gone to this pub, the Feathers, after the Battle of Ideas. He's upstairs. Now, given the threats that were made, and then saying that I'm stalking and harassing someone when I don't tweet about them, to then constantly post about their location when they're publicly seen at events, I don't think that's sensible. In fact, I think that's the direct opposite of stalking and harassment.
She's a twat, Robbie. Hello.
Hi, Jane.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jane?
I'm good, thank you. It's lovely to see you again. I've not seen you for fucking ages.
I
You
know
all right?
we're on the wrong side of Twitter from each other. I'm on the serious side and you're on the jokey side. But you know, and
Yeah.
all I'm going to say, Jane, all I'm going to say to you, Jane, all I'm going to say to you is, I was accused there of sharing every single piece of personal information that I have ever received with Peaches. I think, Jane, I'm just going to allow you to speak on that. Have I done that?
No, but she's a fucking cunt, and if I get my hands on her, I'll fucking tell her as much as well. She's a fucking slag.
Right, I'm going to.
No, I'm not having this, Jane. Come on, you wouldn't let me do this, and I wouldn't do this. Please don't, okay? Because I don't want to drop you down to listener, but don't, just don't. Caroline, you don't know Peaches, right? You barely know me. Me and Peaches go back a long fucking way, and she caused me a lot of fucking damage, all right? If I want to say something about Peaches, I fucking will. I'll go in a different space if I have to.
Sorry, I thought you were talking.
Caroline. You don't know fuck all.
I thought you were talking about Kay. Who the hell is fucking Peaches?
Like I said, you don't know me, you don't know Peaches.
I
We go
thought
back
you were
a
talking
fucking
about
long
Kay.
way. And this woman caused me a lot of damage. And if I want to talk to Robbie about Peaches, I
What
fucking
woman?
will. If I have to go to a different space, I will. Sorry,
What
Caroline.
woman?
But you don't know
Kay.
what you do not know what and who you are talking about.
Jane, I thought you were speaking about Kay. You've just come in
No,
and spoke about
he talked to
somebody.
me about
Jane.
fucking Peaches.
Jane,
You're
Jane, can I just ask you, just a serious point though, because apparently I've been sharing everyone's personal information. We've obviously go back a long way, Jane. I've obviously not done that in your case, and I just think it's important to say that. This idea that I share everyone's information every time, all the time, it's just rubbish.
I don't even know what yous are talking about now.
No, you don't, Caroline. That's the point.
Well, use fucking names, Jane. We were talking about Kay.
Well, we've moved on now. All right. Okay, Robbie, we'll talk to this in private about this in private.
Let's
in
do
DMs,
this in
but
private. But Jane,
I
it's
do
lovely to
trust
see you.
You've been loyal to me. I've never had any reason to doubt you. Okay, and I've always fucking stood by you.
Is everyone finished?